Good afternoon, classy. Welcome to our today's discussion. We are going to talk about informal settlements versus informal sector. Would We are going to look at some questions that I've pasted on the board there that would help us to explore more and be very typical to the questions that are asked in our national question papers or exams. So I have got this question here, which is pasted on our board there. Informal settlement and associated issues. We are given here that it is an informal settlement issue or informal settlement matters that have been reported from Durban. Most of the major fires attended to in recent years by eThekwini Fire Department were in informal settlements. In July, a farmer engulfed surrounded 300 sheikhs in Kennedy Road informal settlement and killed Tebengos Mutobo. So we are saying this is quite a scenario that we are going to refer to in order for us to answer the questions that are following. So without any waste of time, let us quickly answer the questions and then we'll add in other additional relevant information as we go. We are given question 4.1, define the term informal settlement. Informal settlement 4.1, what is informal settlement? 4.4.1, it is informal settlement. It is when a group of people occupy a piece of land illegally and build their houses without government approval. It is when a group of people occupy a piece of land, illegally. When people occupy a piece of land illegally without the approval of without the approval from government, we call that illegally without government approval. Without government approval, we call that informal settlement. So in this case, I want us to understand that people are occupying a piece of land without government approval. And then one other thing that is also quite relevant here is that people would live in these self-constructed structures that are made up of indigenous or readily available material. Uh, people live, we are saying people live in self-constructed houses. Self-constructed, they are self-constructed houses or structures which we say or structures that are made of readily available material, which are made up of readily available material. If you can see in informal settlements, people build houses with material that they get there in the place or within their surroundings, where you would find out that a structure is quite informal, it is unapproved, where, like we say, there is no social services or social amenities that are put in place by government, such as like the piped water, toilets, and roads and many other things that should support the people who are living in those areas. So an informal settlement, it would not have such kind of things, which we would say that in regard to infrastructure, it will be really quite compromised, or it won't be even there. That is what we mean by informal settlement. Our next question, 4.4.2 is saying, according to the newspaper article, why is there an increased risk of fires in informal settlement? There is increased risk of fires in informal settlement because we are saying, one, why is there high risks of fires in informal settlement? One thing that we need to understand is that people are building houses. I mean, we are saying there is one, I've marked those points there where we are saying existing settlements remain at risk due to the nature of structures, nature of construction material used. Number 4.4.2. One, nature of construction material that is used, as I've highlighted in our essay there. Nature of construction material used. It causes high risks of fire. Like we are saying, the houses are built up of indigenous materials, which can be both newspapers, cardboards, or whatsoever. So in that case, these materials, they are quite they pose high risks of fire. They pose high risks of fire, which we are saying it is quite a point in regard to why is there a high risk of fires there in the informal settlement. And then there is also number two, we are saying spacing among structures. There is no spacing. These houses, if you can check, the spacing is so small, uh, no enough spacing. There is no enough spacing among the shacks. Among the shacks, this causes high risks of fire there. No enough spacing among the shacks. Another point we are saying, I mean, it's also number three, we said emergency accessibility challenges, to say for rescue people to be able to reach there, they've got problems or they encounter problems, which we say emergency accessibility challenges. Emergency accessibility challenges, which are caused because there are no roads, like we said in the first place there are no roads there. Roads are compromised. It is mostly gravel roads which are cut off by runoff water. There are sometimes no bridges where there are serious donkers there. So emergency accessibility challenges hinders the rescue team to get to these places in order for them to help or uh, to take off or to remove these fires. And then we are saying human behavior also contribute there. Human behavior in this regard, the context or the essay is referring to matters such as maybe negligence of people, where they would make fire and then leave the fires unattended or unmonitored, which would result in spreading of the fires or accidental fires resulting. So this would cause problems of fires. And then our next question, 4.4.3, our next question, 4.4.3, why does the occurrence of destructive fires increase in informal settlements in winter? Number 4.4.3, where, I mean, the issues of destructive fires increasing in winter in informal settlements, we understand that winter is a season whereby it is cold, or weather is cold, where we are saying the weather is cold. So the cold weather results in people trying to have artificial heating, which in other ways that these artificial methods of heating up results in fire. So we are saying, one, people light up, people light people light fires. There is problems of people light fires which they are using to warm themselves, light fires, use paraffin heaters as well, or use paraffin heaters, or they use paraffin heaters, which we are saying these heaters, sometimes they use them to warm themselves. They can use paraffin heaters to warm themselves, which we are saying these fires or these paraffin or fuels are highly flammable. And then number two, other point that might also cause the increased use of gas stoves, increased use of gas. Is another point that we can put in here. Increased use of gas, which is also used for like gas for heating or warming up people, for and warming or warming up. People use heaters to warm themselves, which would also increase the process. I mean, the chances of fires. Wood to make open fires. Open fires are also made up by wood. Open fires are made of wood, which also the open fires are also increasing the risks of what of fires that we are talking about. They would also increase these ones. You know, one other point that we must understand again is in informal settlements, there is increased illegal electricity connections where people would also try to bypass the national grid or the formal connections that are done by their local councils. So increased there is increased illegal connections, increased illegal connections of electricity, increased illegal connections of electricity. This also causes in fires to also form. We can as well have other points to do with number 3, number 4.4.3. We can also talk of negligence when using open fires by people living in informal settlement. I mean, there is gonna also be negligence when using open fires. When using open fires also results in chances of fires that would also arise or that can spread and cause problems in informal settlements. Material used to make fires are stored around shakes. If you can check in terms of wood, firewood, that are plastics and many other things, materials that are used to make fire are stored around or are stored You are saying what are stored around the shacks. Are stored around the shacks. It's also this can also cause high chances of fires again. In winter, there is also, because of the coldness and many other things, people also there is increased use of candles. Is another point that we might also add here. Increased use of candles. Increased use of candles is gonna also be another problem, which is where the candles are used to generate light. They also cause problems of fires that we can also need to take note of. So in informal settlement, fires are quite rampant or are highly possible because of these kind of points that we have given there, where people are always trying to navigate their ways from the cold weather of winter, and then the materials that they use or that are used in the building of the houses, which are also quite vulnerable to causing fires. So what we are saying is these points are amongst some of the reasons that could lead to increased risks of fire in informal settlements. So we can as well now go to next question, question number 4.4. In a paragraph of approximately 8 lines, explain how the local municipality can reduce fire hazards for people living in informal settlements. I'm quite sure that the problems that we have seen, which are caused because of these fires, cannot just be ignored. But in any case, wherever there is a problem, government must intervene and try to avoid such accidents and possibilities of losses of life. So 4.4 government, or we are saying the government must provide safer electricity. Government must provide safer electricity. As you see, we talked above there that there is illegal connections which are arising, which causes problems there. So safe electricity or safer electricity or solar panels, which we are saying in this case they reduce chances of fires. These are user-friendly sources, like for example the solar panel systems. They provide electricity but without having, they provide power but without having problems or high chances of accidents. Number two, we can also talk about establishment of community forums. Establishment of community forums, which we are saying these must also be put in place in order for government to avoid problems of fire. Establishment of community forums, which will assist in cases of fire. Which will assist in cases of fire outbreak, of fire problems. When there are fire problems, the government or the society community may have some community forums, which are groups of people who would assist or help whenever there is problems of fire there. We can as well save or reduce the effects of fire by building houses with formal bricks or building formal houses. encouragement or a promotion of building formal houses, building formal houses which are made of bricks. So when houses are built of bricks, there is less chances of what? Of fires. As we have seen that bricks, we are saying they are a material that cannot cause problems of fire there. And then having said that, we can as well say increase awareness program. You know, in any case, when we have got problems, class understand that problems and challenges are normally sorted and addressed by awareness programs, which we are saying education, promotion, and awareness programs about the dangers of open fires, about dangers of open fire. So if communities are educated about problems that would arise when they make open fires, they would therefore reduce the possible ways and behaviors that would cause those open fires. We can also ensure that government would also provide regular policing, provide regular, they would provide regular policing services, regular policing, regular policing services. These services, we are saying that these services which are intended to monitor illegal connections, to monitor illegal connections, to monitor illegal connections. So regular policing services where our systems are being monitored, or our residential places are monitored to identify and get rid of what is this these illegal connections, would also reduce possibilities of fires that would cause problems. One other program or one other approach that can also be put in place is also increase access to potable clean water, which would also maybe reduce, or which would also be used by the people when there is fire outbreak. Increased access to potable clean water, access to potable clean water. Increased access to potable clean water can also be a way that would reduce the problems of that would reduce fire hazards in people living in informal settlements. Uh, Last but not least, government may also provide demarcations of specific plots for people to settle, which would leave enough spaces between the housing. Demarcation, clear demarcation. We can talk about clear demarcation, demarcation of plots or stands, which will indicate the sizes of the houses or the sizes of the plots indicate, which will indicate boundaries between each houses, between each housing, indicate boundaries between nearby houses. This would also ensure that there is enough spacing of houses. That would also reduce problems of fire. That would also reduce the problem of fire. And then I think we can lastly want to also say increase the availability or uh, in- increase availability of proper infrastructure, increased access. We can talk about increased access to to proper infrastructure. The proper infrastructure which will increase accessibility for proper infrastructure to increase accessibility in times of emergency. Increase accessibility in times of emergency. In times of emergency, the personnel should be able to navigate their ways very fast to places where there is fire outbreaks. So in this case, what is happening is that increased access to increase increase access to proper infrastructure would help to increase accessibility in times of what? In times of emergency, which we are saying that the accessibility is actually targeting these informal places. So therefore, people can be able to be saved to avoid risks and problems of fire. We can quickly go to our next question. Our next question, it is based on informal sector. As you can see, informal settlement and informal sector, these are two scenarios or two phenomenons that are quite outstanding and found in mostly in Africa, because basically we can talk about problems that have to do with what? With poverty and also other challenges such as unemployment and high dependencies and stuff that would cause people not to afford the class standards that would allow people to live better. So we have got this question there: the informal sector, we should ban street trading in this country and fine offenders 5,000 5,000 rand, which is given in this case. 5,000 rand has been put 5,000 rand has been put in place. And then the minister also says, the minister also is putting it that the option, I mean, without option of going to jail. So if people are paying such monies, therefore we are saying the minister is actually crying because of problems of informal sector. However, the minister is talking to uh, informal trader who is actually objecting the sentiments or objecting the suggestions that are done by the or that are put across by the minister there. So we want to quickly answer these questions again and see what is it that is actually supposed to be understood in this regard. We have got our questions there. We have got our questions. The first question is saying, define the term informal sector. Define the term informal sector. So informal sector, it is small business enterprises that are not registered with the government entities for the purposes of tax payment. Number 4.61, 4.6.1. it is define the term informal sector. It is small business enterprises, small business it is small business enterprises that are not registered with government, that are not registered with government, enterprises that are not registered with the government for tax payment. So businesses that are operating illegally and registered with the government, we call them or they fall under informal sector. These kind of businesses, they don't pay tax to the government. They are, in other ways, not known. They are actually running and operating, but in terms of our databasing or in terms of our formal recordings, which we can say that our statistics in terms of our GDP, in terms of our economic growth, their contribution is actually unaccounted. We don't have any information that would actually explain what is it that we are getting or what is it that the government can actually benefit there, which of course they might of course have benefits that would be arising and arising and experienced and enjoyed by the society anyway, but they are not what they are not registered in any case. So that is one key problem, or that is the definition of informal sector. The next question is saying, what evidence in the cartoon indicates that the minister is not in favor of informal sector? If you can see here, the minister, here is our minister, and then what is it that the minister is showing that can show that this is not interested? You can see here, one is saying ban street trading, ban street trading, 4.6.2. The minister is encouragement of banning of street trading. It is one point that can show that the minister is not in support with the informal sector. We also see on our answer or in our scenario there on this cartoon, there is also here where the minister is also lamenting and emphasizing that offenders pay 5,000, fining offenders high monies, uh, that is fining offenders 5,000 rands, that is being given there without an option of going to jail. Without option of going to jail. So the offenders are just strictly supposed to pay 5,000 rands without going to jail, which is something that is also very, very strong, and which is also something that is some kind of threatening to informal traders or informal businesses. Number three, if you can look in this again, the pointing of the finger by the minister, as you can say there, and the exclamation mark or the way he's opening his mouth. So we can as well say his non-verbal expressions or his non-verbal language, the language of the minister and his facial expression or non-verbal cues shows that non-verbal expressions indicates extreme seriousness. They indicate extreme seriousness of the matter. They indicate extreme seriousness. Non-verbal expression indicate extreme seriousness, which we are saying that his body language from the picture, from the cartoon that we are seeing there, we are saying these are actually showing that the minister is is very upset. The minister is very upset. He's really not interested. He's not really in support of informal sector. And then our next question, 4.6.3, 4.6.3 suggests a possible reason for the minister for the minister not wanting informal street trading taking place. Why could the minister doesn't want this kind of businesses to take place? From our definition there, we also talked about that the informal sector or the informal businesses, they are not registered, they run illegally, they don't pay tax to the government. So these are some of the reasons why this minister is not is not in support. So one, uh, they the minister is actually crying because they take businesses away from the formal businesses. One, informal businesses pose extreme competition, extreme competition to registered businesses, of which these registered businesses are paying tax, and they are well documented and stuff, which would cause them to lose their income, reducing the income of these formal registered businesses. Competition to registered businesses, reducing their profit, reducing their profits, reducing their profits. So in the formal businesses are losing because of the informal sector. We can also have another point which has to do with which has to do with informal businesses tend to be very dirty. Informal businesses tend to be dirty, to be very dirty, tend to be very dirty, increasing untidiness or pollution, increasing land pollution, which would cause the minister also to have problems to do with what more land pollution or untidiness, which we are saying if such happens, therefore the minister is actually forced to what informal they tend to cause to tend to be very dirty and increasing land pollution and untidiness, land pollution or untidiness in cities or in town. Another point that we can also cause, they are associated with noisy. Informal businesses are associated, informal sector are associated with noise, which also affect businesses or which also affect informal business. I mean, which also affect our formal business functions in the cities where these informal activities are running. They may also, if you can see, most often they are put on pavements where there is no space. They may hinder pedestrians. pedestrians movement, because mostly they are put, because they are mostly extracted or they are mostly put on pavement. They are put on pavements. So when they are on those pavements, they actually cause problems for people to move. They result in obstruction of people to move. They are also associated with crime. They are associated with crime, associated with high crime cases, high crime, high crime cases or chances, high crime, high crime chance associated with high crime chances. They are associated with with crime chances, which is also a threat to formal businesses. Uh, I think with this we can also, lastly, we can also say that they don't formally contribute to what, to, they are not registered. They are not registered. They are not registered, and hence, and therefore they do not pay tax to the government. Therefore, they do not pay tax to government. Because they are not paying tax to government, hence the minister is also not happy. In other ways, or we can as well put many other points which can also relate to issues to do with dealing with counterfeit goods. If you can see informal sector, many times people also, or community also lament to them because of issues to do with them being associated with counterfeit goods, goods which are sometimes substandard, or which are not meeting the exact qualities and standards of the country. So therefore, we are saying they also cause problems in that regard. And then question 4.6, question 4.6, 4.6.4, 4.6.4, give 4.6.4, give two reasons why the informal sector is important for the informal trader. Why is it important for the informal trader? Why the informal sector is important for the informal trader? We can give many points here. Of course, we are saying we are asked to give two, but we need to give as many as possible. One key reason is that informal sector is, why is it important for the informal trader? One, it gives them income to support their families. It provides income to support their families. To support their families. That is one point. Number two, why do we have also it is one other one, it develop entrepreneurial skills. Why is it important to the informal trader? Uh help to nurture, it help to nurture or develop entrepreneurial skills. Help to nurture or develop entrepreneurial skills. Entrepreneurial skills. Entrepreneurial It helps to nurture entrepreneurial skills. People can have skills, entrepreneurial skills, to nurture entrepreneurial skills, which are very important in terms of our economic uh, balancing, because people should be able to be self-reliant elsewhere in order for them to offload the pressure from government. And then it can also improve people's standards of living, help to improve, it helps to improve the standards of living of people, standards of living of people. People can improve their standards of living because of the income that they are getting from there, because of the income that they are getting there. It also helps to uh, it helps to establish relationship, help to establish uh, important relationships with the formal sector. They are also existing there, buying goods and services that are produced from the formal sector, which would also provide a parasitic beneficial relationship, which actually in many times help the formal sector. It also provides convenience of working from home to the what? To the informal trader. Provide convenience of working from home uh, for the informal trade. Informal trader. The informal trader can work from home, which is a good advantage also, which we cannot deny also. These businesses, informal businesses, they do not require a lot of money to establish, do not require a lot of money to establish, which is also a good advantage also to the informal trader as well, which is also a good advantage to the informal trader. That is quite important in regard to that. In this case also, the informal trader can also establish food security. Another point for them, they help to establish food security to various families. People would have food every time. People can have access to food every time, anywhere, because of the informal sector that we are talking about. Uh, Last but not least, is that the informal trader has got the advantage of not complying with the trade regulations, because his business sometimes is not informal trader. Also, you've got the advantage of not complying with trade regulation. The business is no pressure of complying to trade regulations. To trade regulations, the business has got no. We are saying business has no pressure of complying to trade regulations. I'm sure that these points can be quite good to in this regard, which we are saying that they are quite beneficial to the informal trader. And then the other point that we can have also is flexible working hours that we can think. I mean, let me just also put it across the, it has got also the advantage of flexible, is flexible working hours, flexible working hours. It's another advantage. We are saying the operational time for the business is quite flexible, which is quite a good advantage to the informal trader. And then question number 6, uh, in a paragraph of approximately 8 lines, discuss reasons for the growth of informal sector in South Africa. You see, this question, it is actually supposed to relate to advantages of the informal sector. It wants to say discuss the reasons for the growth of informal sector. Why would informal sector continue to establish in South Africa? So in cases like this, you are asked to give the advantages of informal sector, the advantages of informal sector is to say, uh, what are these? We can also, of course, identify also the challenges that they have and also even their disadvantages and stuff. But in this case, we are saying discuss the reasons for the growth of informal sector in South Africa. One, this sector is not regulated. This sector is not regulated, so there is what? There is it has got no problems in establishment, which we can give as to say 4.6. It's 4.6 point 4.6 point 4.6 point 4.6.5 4.6.5. uh One, we are saying it helps it. One, the informal sector, we are saying this, it has less regulation. The owner is his own bossy. He has no strict regulations. Hence, the owner can be his own boss, can be his own bossy, which can enable people to. He has no strict regulations. Therefore, the owner can become his own boss, which can also cause the business to run. One other point is that the other point is that it helps to reduce also unemployment. It helps to reduce unemployment. The informal sector, it helps to reduce unemployment and lessens pressure of job creation from the to the government. uh, Pressure of job creation. It reduces unemployment and lessens pressure of job creation to the government. Government has no pressure to continuously. It would also have to actually help to, I mean, it is actually helped or assisted because of the existence of the informal sector. Actually, that is a good advantage. It also empowers. We talked about the existence of informal sector. It helps in skills development and other essential entrepreneurial skills and other entrepreneurial skills that help to benefit, that actually improve the country. Skills that can improve the country as a whole, which can improve the country So what we are saying is that the existence of informal sector, it is actually it is quite important because it helps to provide skills development, which helps to uh, which enable the government to benefit by having its people being empowered. Being empowered, it also helps to it can also help in terms of it can also help in terms of what you call uh, reduce rural urban migration also. It can also help maybe to reduce rural urban migration where growth points and service centers would also be established or can also run as centers of active business hubs, help to reduce rural urban migration, rural urban migration where growth points and service centers can be used as hubs for development of informal sector, of informal sector. So rural urban migration is a problem which can also cause pressure. It can be a problem that can result in pressure to government. Therefore, we are saying the existence of informal sector, it is also because of some of those reasons that is also there. We also have to say that the existence is also caused or it's also available because of difficulties in securing funding for formal businesses. Businesses also people are also not having access. We are saying difficulties in securing funding for establishment of formal businesses. So people would always have challenges in getting the funding which they would need in terms of starting their own businesses. Therefore, securing the funding is a challenge that would cause the business to run as informal sectors. Uh, we also have businesses. We also have formal established formal established businesses. Formal established businesses, they also sometimes subcontract informal sector. Formal established formal established businesses, they sometimes subcontract. They sometimes also subcontract the informal sector. So because of that, they are able to run also formal established businesses, subcontract the informal sector, which would give them the support or the continuous existence in terms of this. And then one other thing is that they continue to exist also because they do not have, they are, they are easy to establish due to little compliances, little or no strict compliances. in place. Actually, people, they run businesses at the back of their houses. People, they do some businesses, we are saying backyard, and people would run spaza shops and stuff, which sometimes they might not be legally registered, which sometimes the government might also tolerate, is just to say that let people find a hustle in terms of for them to find to in order for them to get some living. It is also because lack of skills, and it is also caused because of lack of skills and education to finance people, these people to have their own, to establish formal businesses. Is another point. It is because of lack of skills and finance for education. People, they don't have skills, and then they don't have also finance for formal education. So therefore people can start other businesses, or can do specific serious businesses that they would run. uh I think you can also see that there are also goods that are also produced, that are also provided by some other established businesses, which are sometimes maybe said to say that they have not met the specific standards. For that reason, those kind of goods are actually traded informally, which would cause the establishment, which would cause also the running of these informal businesses at the end of the day. So what we are saying is that there is also there is also kind of such problems that we are talking about that would result in that would cause also problems. Last but not least is also the issue of the failing of South African economy causes large scale, which causes large scale retrenchment, continuous failure by South African economy uh, to its people, resulting in extensive resulting resulting in massive retrenchment, resulting in massive retrenchments. So when people have no jobs because of the failing economy, people would also eventually end up finding whatever possible measures that they would take for them to survive. So these informal businesses are the ones that they would resort to for them to be able to keep their families. So hence we are saying informal sector would continue to flourish in South Africa. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope that you are going to benefit and understand this quite enough. And then uh, I wish you all the best. And last but not least is that you need to also note that from the question that we discussed, there is no question which talks about what should the government do in order for it to improve the informal sector. We talk about, I mean, in this case, these are kind of questions that sometimes also would come. In that case, we would say that the government must provide some skills development programs for its people, so therefore they can be formally educated for them to enter into the formal sector. We also talk about the improvement of the facilities and infrastructure from the informal sector, which would also, at the end of the day, help to improve the services that they are offering, and then it can also transform them to be formal. It can also transform them to be formal. We also need maybe also to identify that government, in order for it to improve or to get rid of the informal sector, it would also need to also provide some ease financing, or what you call ease access to finances, and the removal of red tape in terms of the application for funding, which would see these kind of things, such as the collateral securities that are needed there must be made easily accessible to people who have got no assets, and we have got who are of low class, such that they can also be able to access loans from banks and so forth. So in other words, what we are saying is that it is very important that the government should also improve, or should also help these informal sectors, such as, like we have been saying, this, such as provision of even refrigerators, building of sheds, which people can do their trading, and then for the government would at the end of the day maybe make those informal businesses to contribute by hiring those uh, points of sale that they will be occupying. So thank you very much, and all the best. Go and revise. Do not forget to subscribe, and also tell a friend to another friend, so therefore we can do this. This year we want the best in our passes. All the best to you. Let's go and pass. Good luck. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll meet again in our next recording. Thank you, and good day.